Hey, Bo here. Today we're going to make some stationery for envelopes, and we're just going to use cardstock that I got from Walmart, 150 sheets. This is 110 pound, which is nice and thick. Alone, it's firm enough to create a card. And so I have two envelopes here. This one is just an example. It actually goes to this card, but we're going to make a card for it. And then we're going to make one for the smaller one as well. And then we'll have like a stationery set created and ready to go. One of the crucial things is to create a really crisp seam, and it just looks much more professional when you do that. This is a bone folder. You can buy these or you can just use something that's slick enough that won't dent the paper. This is nice and smooth, and it really, the eye does see it. It does make your craft look a lot more professional. And so there's the cards, and then we're just going to kind of measure it out, and I'll show you how to do that. So this is one of the sheets, 8.5 by 11, which is just a standard cardstock. And what we're going to do is I'm going to first measure the width. Now, when it's a fold over card, you're going to double this length, but the width is just simply the width. So I'm on a cutting board. I would advise some sort of cutting board. You could have a smaller one that would work absolutely fine as well. So this envelope measures 6.5, but you don't want it exactly that or it's not going to fit in. So I'm going to put kind of my arrow at 6 because that's going to average out to 1/4 of an inch on each side. So I'm taking an inch off, and then we're going to cut it. And I just put that there so I visually can remember. And this is my sheet, and I've got it kind of the way you would read on a piece of paper, and we're going to cut it at 8. And then, oh, look, we've got paper. This could be sentiment. This could be, and what I do is I just put it right under my, cutter, and I refer to it. So now we've done the width, and now we've got to do the, what would it be? The length up, but we're going to double it. So let's remove that so we're not confused. And we're going to double it. So it measures about a little over 5.5. And then I'm going to just double it. So we're up at a little over 9.5, a couple over that. So I'm going to do a little over 9, just guesstimate. Nobody's going to measure this. You just have to be somewhat on target so the card fits in and doesn't look awkward. Okay, there's your other precious piece of paper. You can just tuck under there. So now the card is going to fold across here so that it can fit in the card. That's where we just kind of match up as best as you can. This is where this comes in. So if you see how rounded that is, it does not look good. Take this, and it looks excellent. There's always going to be a natural longer side, shorter side, because you just can't be perfect, which is actually handy because when a person opens the card, they are going to have to kind of maneuver those edges so they can get it open. I always put the longest one on the top, so when they open it, they'll look at it this way or this way. But this is how you open a card, and so it helps them. If those edges don't match, it actually does help them. So actually now we have a card that we can decorate, and let's just make sure it fits. The nice thing about these cutters is if they don't fit, you can shave off a little bit if you have to. And I would say that fits perfectly. So let's make one for this card now. Let's remove all of our arrows and the bone folder, and then get another one. So this card, I just kind of butt it up to the cutter. This card is measuring about 5 3/4. So I'm going to go, so it measures about here. I'm going to guesstimate really about right here would make it kind of just meet the sides by the time you split those two measurements on each side. And then we'll just cut the paper while we've got our marker there. And then we're going to turn the envelope this way, butt it up against the cutter, and then, but we have to double it. And so that mark is about right there, here. Let's shorten it a little bit to about here. And I think it'll cut really well. And notice I didn't disturb this. I turned it once so that I don't have to remember, because when these get small, sometimes you don't know which way you're going to fold them. So let's just do this. This is the long way, which means I'm going to have to put the fold here. This is actually really therapeutic. I love doing that. Now, this is white and kind of off-white, but I personally like the subtle color differences. And so if I were to pick this to start creating a card, I think there's a lot you can work with. I do find myself, though, honestly, kind of wondering what to do with stark white. And I think I'm going to get a pack of cardstock that is off-white, softer, because sometimes I'll put something on here, and I feel like this just needs some decoration, and it's something to try to figure out how to deal with stark white paper. But this is certainly doable, and you have made yourself some stationery here. Both of these, and it's easy. It's easy. You don't really have to know a lot of numbers. I just use these little Post-its, these arrows to get me going. And if you sit down on a day, grab your coffee, and some of these, I'm getting a card from each of these. You can make quite a bit of stationery. Make it ahead of time so that when you want to craft and create, you don't have to do the cutting stuff. This is good, mindless, relaxing, put on music, drink your coffee while you cut your stationery. And then when you go to decorate, you've got everything all ready. So I hope you give it a try. So please subscribe for more ideas. Check out our playlist and then comment below and give me a hi.